Okay, guys, welcome back to the Back to Basics series. Sorry for our little lapse here. We kind of had a little mini summer vacation. The students were getting all riled up, and they wanted to go to the beach. They didn't want to hear me drone on anymore, but I was able to rope everyone back. And honestly, it was mostly my fault. I moved. I'm going to put something back here soon, so it's not just dead space. And all of that. The other thing you may notice is this is not live, it's recorded. We're going to record these from now on. We'll be able to do them a little bit more frequently then. We can edit them down if I drone on about something random for too long, which I'm known to do. So again, if you're new to this series, basically we're taking a couple people from Trade Ideas who have been working for Trade Ideas for a length of time but aren't traders and they haven't really traded before. They're interested in learning how to trade and they're interested in learning the product that we have as well. So we're teaching them from beginning all the way to advanced in trading. So far we've gone through things like what is a stock? What happens when you click a button and you send your order? How does that get routed through your broker, through the exchange? We've gone through technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and very basic statistical analysis. So if you're just popping in now, welcome. There's a whole playlist on the Trade Ideas YouTube channel, which is right at the top. You can go find it there and kind of watch all the way from the beginning until now. So what we're going to go over for the next little bit is we're going to show the program. After we kind of get everyone familiar with the program and how to scan and how to do all of these things, we're going to go into actually paper trading. We're currently in the works of building a paper trading module. So in the next few weeks to a month, you'll have the ability to paper trade automatically directly through Trade Ideas. So once we have that up and running, we're going to have everybody starting to build their own trading plan and paper trading. The beauty of this is that you can make all of the mistakes that traders make, but not really cost yourself money while you're doing it, which is fantastic. So, all right, so here we go. So what is Trade Ideas? Probably the best way to start, right? What is Trade Ideas? What do we do? And why do we think we're special in comparison to all the other trading softwares out there? So Trade Ideas is basically comprised of three things, right? Scanning, alerting, and auto trading. We're going to start very simple with the scanning for now and some of the pre-built stuff that you get as soon as you buy Trade Ideas and you don't have anything at all to do. Eventually, we're going to teach you to modify and to scan for your own things and build your own kind of custom layout. So what we do very well is we always scan the entire universe of stocks. There's a lot of softwares out there that will allow you to scan and back test a very limited amount of basket of stocks. You can pick like your top 10 stocks and you can see how they're doing. Everything you're about to see is going to be on the entire universe of stocks. So, everything out there, and you narrow them in depending on what it is that you want to see in your own trading style. So what this does is it makes it much better. Back in the day when I started to trade, before I started to use Trade Ideas, it was going through news. It was going through every bit news article that existed, trying to find some stock that was interesting or some stock that was moving. Now you can just build what it is you want to see, have it presented to you, and then make your decisions after that. So it's very quick, very easy to do. So we're going to do the web version and we're going to do the download version. I think everybody here, including myself, is a Mac person. So if you are a Mac person, we have this web version that works well. We're working very hard to catch this up and possibly even surpass it to the downloaded version. Right now it has some limitations, but really you get 99% of everything from the downloaded version. But we'll show you guys both because, there's some things you can do are better on one and some things that are better on the other. So when you log into the first time, essentially there's a couple things to watch out for, and you guys are already set up with accounts, so that should be good. Under this account bar and log in, you'll put in your username and password. Right? Hit OK. If you want to try this software, there'll be a link down below. You can get in with a beta version, a demo version where all the data is 20 minutes delayed. And there's some features that are disabled, the more advanced features. And you can log in with your Google account by clicking the Google button here, or your Facebook account by clicking the Facebook button there. So once you click OK, the main thing to watch for is this big orb right here. This is kind of your tick and your lifeblood. Green is good, yellow is some things might be a little bit delayed, and red is you're disconnected. So as long as everything is flashing green, then you're good to go, and the software is kind of working as it should. Yellow, I've seen yellow if there's a little server issue, sometimes switching between tabs. It takes a second for the browser to kind of come back and show you what everything's going on there. And red usually means that you got to come to support. There's some sort of account type issue, and one of the people in front of you will probably be the people that you end up talking to get that resolved. So this is the default screen that you see right away. So this is our channel bar. So essentially what our channel bar is a bunch of pre-built scans by the traders that work at Trade Ideas for things that they like to see in the markets. So what channel you spend time on is going to be up to your trading style, but we're going to quickly kind of go through what a lot of them is. We're going to exclude the AI for now. We'll talk about it briefly, but that will probably be an entire lecture down the road. Now it's just kind of getting you into the system and basic use. So first things first is all of these windows are connected together. So like with most things on computers, you can drag and move this window, right? You can expand it so that it will take up your full screen. There's a little window button up here for you Windows users you're used to that will just maximize that. So it takes up your full screen. You can minimize it down, so it only takes up a bit. The beauty of this is that everything sizes as you move it. So I use this on my iPad quite often. This is the only thing I bring with me now when I travel because I can do all my scanning from this. What channel you have selected will be kind of over here on the side, and you'll be presented with these scans, again, that are built for you by our traders. Each channel is going to be a little bit different on how it's set up. The best way to learn about this is to kind of play with it, but we've tried to name them so they're somewhat self-explanatory. We're going to add a little bit more descriptions down the road. So for example, if you're trading in the pre-market, if you want to know what's happening, we talked a lot about gaps, about how a stock will close at one price and open at another. Does everyone remember that? No one forgot everything that you've been taught so far? No? So in the pre-market, this is going to be populated with things that are gapping. So they've had news overnight. So you can go through these lists, and everything that you see within this channel is going to show you kind of what's going on. Let's look at TCF, for example. So this stock, and I'll show you how to read the charts, had a massive gap up. So you can see it's the top of the up gappers list. Again, we try to make everything as self-explanatory as possible. Essentially, the white areas in the chart, and you can change these to black by right-clicking and clicking dark theme. Some people get, they have problems with their eyes staring at white charts for too long. Essentially, anything in the white area is when the market is open, right? If it's the blue area here, that's after the market's closed. There's a little bit of trading that goes on. And then the pink here is before the market opens. So at about 7 a.m. Eastern is when our servers start up and get going. So you'll start to see data here. Now, stocks that generally trade, just to show you something that moves quite a bit pre-market, is usually Apple, right? You can see there's actually a fair amount of activity that took place after the market closed last night and before the market opened this morning, right? You are able to trade through this. The issue is that it's like the market is half on. There's some things that work and some things that don't. So a lot of people, myself including, kind of suggest that you leave this alone for now. You can see there's a lot of jumps. This went from 214 to 212 in an instant and then right back up. But just know, right, that's what this channel does. So you'll notice that when I click on something, if I actually click on the name itself, it will populate these charts, and it will also populate this box down here. So let's quickly go through what these are. So here is Trade Ideas chart. You can use your scroll wheel to zoom in and zoom out, depending on how much data you want to see. Quickly, the data that you see, so this is NCTY, which the name of the company is 9 Limited, and the bracket D means it's a daily chart. So it means that every single one of these candles is 1 day of action. So, think back to your candlestick analysis and what that particularly means. Over here is the same name, 9 Limited, bracket 5. So it means each one of these candles is 5 minutes of action. Let's actually find something that moves. Looks like that stock doesn't move. There we go. So yeah, each one of these is 5 minutes. If you want to change this interval, as well as most things that you'll do within trade ideas, is activate it through right clicking. So you can right click, and here's all the time frame options under time frame. So you can go as low as 1 minute. You can go as high as a monthly chart, right? Each one of these is now a month, right? So, now we're back to 2015 if you want to see many, many years back on a stock. Myself, and I won't impose this on anyone, but for my intraday chart, I generally look at 15-minute candles. What you'll find, and this is going to be up to you guys by playing, the tighter you zoom in, the more signals you're going to see, but the more noise there is. Everything will look cleaner, I guess, for lack of a better term, if things are more, are slower and easier to kind of do. So that's going to be up to you. It depends on how fast you trade. We've got some guys who are super hyperactive and they want to get in and out of something in the first few minutes of the day and call it a day. They'll be on 1 minute. Guys like Steve and Andy, who are more swing traders, they'll probably be on like 30 minute to 60 minute. But just so you know, that's how you get into that. Pop out, you can actually pop out this chart. So if you wanted to keep something, you can, hopefully that doesn't mess up the recording too much. You can actually pop out this chart and kind of keep it, to yourself, right? You can start to build your own layout by moving these types of charts around. New channels. There we go. All right. So we're into the pre-market here. Other things you can do quickly with the chart, you can add lines. We talked about trends and drawing trend lines. You can do that in the charts here, right? Just by drawing lines like that. You can see how the trend of the stock would change. You can mark that up that way. You can go to turn off these pre and post markets if you want under properties. Right? You can go down to sending the symbol to different symbol lists. We'll cover symbol lists down the road. They're very important, but just not right now. And essentially, the main thing I want to show here is that everything you do, 90% in trade ideas, if you're like, I wonder how I do this, if you want to change this scan and you're saying, I wonder how I change the scan, try right clicking. It will give you a big menu and it will give you a bunch of different options of things you can change. If you're on an iPad like I am, if you actually press and hold, it treats it as a right click. So that's kind of how you activate that from there. Now down here is the other thing that will change. We'll see again, if I change the chart, this populates as well. So this gives you that fundamental data that we talked about. And I think that was the last thing we talked about before our break, where we talked about volume, short interest, when earnings were, these type of things, the things that you necessarily don't trade against, but you want to watch out for. We've had conversations about liquidity. Is the stock liquid enough? And if it's not, you'll find out here. Like, for example, you can see that this Boot Barn traded 3.1 million shares today. So this would be a very liquid stock. You can also see that that's 5 times what it normally trades. So it also says that a lot of traders are interested in this stock, as well as all of the information you can see that we put in here for you. And again, we'll show you how to customize this when we kind of build your own layouts after that, but it's all here. And again, if you want to edit it, you can right click in it, right? You can configure, you can turn off the symbol linking. If you want it to change the symbol and have this not change, you can do that. Has another tab under profile, which will just tell you a bit about the company. If you just want to read about what it is they do, what sector they're in, that type of thing. Soon, very soon, there'll be a couple more tabs that will give you recent news and some social media type stuff. We're adding that into the system in the very near future. Just turn that back on. So then the main thing is going to be, and this is going to be jumping ahead to what your homework is to go through these, to go through all of these channels and kind of see what's interesting to you. But just a quick synopsis of what they all are is alpha predator is essentially, alpha is a big inflated term that we use a lot in finance, which basically just means a return above and beyond what the market is doing. So if the market is up 1% today, but you've made 5%, then you've made 4% of alpha, right? And that's what we're all hunting for, is that return above and beyond what the market would give us. Otherwise, we would just invest in the market. Most of these make sense just by reading them, right? Blockchain and cryptocurrency are companies that have something to do with the blockchain and with cryptocurrency. And, that market's kind of chilled out a bit, but way back when things were going crazy, you could actually, if you wanted to profit off of Bitcoin, but you didn't actually want to open a Bitcoin exchange wallet and go through all that, you could invest in a company that had something to do with Bitcoin. So we created that. Short squeeze is going to show you all the channels that are heavily shorted. So remember, we talked about that in our fundamental. If there's a lot of people that are short and the stock's moving up dramatically, those people are going to be forced to cover, right? So for example, this short squeeze activity is going to say, okay, this stock is really running, and it was running here after hours, and there's a lot of people short, right? So company's running, a lot of people are short. Chances are it's possible that there's going to be, more buying after that. Social media, we basically scan stock twits. You guys know what stock twits? I know Marissa will, but it's essentially a Twitter just for investors. And we scan that and we take a look at what people are talking about. Not necessarily what they're saying, but what are they talking about? Because if they're talking way more today than they were prior days, that's something that may be interesting to traders. Surge is things that are moving dramatically. Things that are kind of really, really running, right? So you can see this MYGN started the day at $30, ended the day at 45. So 54% return in a single day. So this is going to show you the things that are really, really going. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to continue, but this is where you want to focus. We talked a lot about, when we did the volume and the fundamental, about how you're only right in a trade when other people believe you're right and also buy the stock. So we're trying to figure out how you to point you to the things that people are interested in, so you can make the decisions. There's nothing worse than being in a stock that just doesn't move. You buy the stock, and it's almost worse than buying the stock and being wrong, because then at least you can move on to the next thing. If you're in a stock and 4 or 5 days go by and nothing happens, you just kind of feel like you've wasted your time and your capital could be spent elsewhere. Swing ideas. So swing trading is essentially kind of where we're going to be pushing the focus of trade ideas a little bit. We're planning on building out more swing trading mechanisms and softwares. And essentially swing trading is just a little bit longer than day trading. So day trading is I'm in and out within a day, usually within like an hour or a few hours. Swing trading is usually I'm in and out within, say 3 weeks to 3 days to 2 weeks, right? Just, not a crazy period of time, but a fair amount there. I'm not going to go through all of these. I just wanted to show you the ones that are interesting. The other one that I really like is Barry's Windows. And you all know Barry. He's the moderator of our chat room. He does a very good job there. We've actually picked out some of his favorite windows and we've put them in here. So if you want to be following what he does, you can see there's a lot of windows that are here that he likes. These bouncer topper windows are looking for to pick tops and to pick bottoms. Options, which we've talked about, we'll talk about further down the road, showing things that have a lot of movement when it comes to options. So these are all things that Barry likes. And essentially, this is the best way if you're just new to trade ideas, like you guys kind of are. You're new to trading with trade ideas. This is where you go, because everything here, is going to look the exact same to you as it is to me. There's going to be nothing to do, nothing to change. You're going to log onto the website and here you go. And any updates we push through. Yep, Rudy?
Oh, yeah, I had a question. So all of those channels don't come by default, because I've opened up this program before and I only have maybe 15 in there.
Yeah, no, they should all be there.
They should all.
The downloaded version and the web version are a little bit different. So if you open up the downloaded version, it may look a little bit different.
Okay.
The other thing we're going to be doing, a big initiative that's coming, is we are actually going to be pushing these with updated, curated lists. So this is another reason why I want you to look at this, because this is a change that might be coming soon where, for example, you could find the Bonfire, the Michael Noss channel, where it would have, here's all the things that I'm interested in. I have over here, these are the swings that I'm watching, right? So I post these to my followers on YouTube every week, and I say, here's the stocks that I'm looking at for this week, and I put in a little area in which they're interesting to me. So eventually, down the road, you guys, if you like my trading style, you'll be able to click on me and see what it is that I'm watching. And if you like Barry's trading style, you'll be able to look at his. So the beauty of this is the best way to learn the system, because you don't really have to do anything. Now, say you really like one of these scans, and this is kind of the last thing I want to go over today, because this is the very start to customizing your own thing. So I really like this option play magic, which is a top list that Barry built that said something's moving and there's a lot of options behind it. And options are essentially, we talked a little bit about it, but they're derivative contracts and they're traded by large institutional investors, right? So the theory being that if the big guys are interested in this, I should be interested in it as well. And I want to keep this somewhere. I can click on this little, I think they call it a hamburger menu, the little 3 lines on top, and I can pop it out. And now I have this, right? I can right click on it and I can actually, there's all the names that we talked about. So you can rename it. You can have it make sounds at you when the trades go off, but you can actually save this to the cloud. So if I click to save this, now it's in my cloud. And what I'll do is I'll show you later how you can build a layout, load all these things out of the cloud and have your own layout that's kind of a hodgepodge of different things. Like you may go to the short squeeze channel and you're here and you like it and you use it for a while, but you find that you only use this one. You only use this one alert. So that means that the rest of this is wasted space, right? So you want to be able to pull these out and replace them with other things that you found. So that's kind of going to be the next few classes where we're going to go through, okay, how do I manipulate these and how do I pull some out and bring them back? But what I want you guys to do by next week is to first sit and think, what kind of time frame are you going to be trading? Are you going to devote an hour or two a day to day trading? Are you going to be a swing trader for a week or so? If so, and I can help you with this, right? You can DM me. I'll suggest a few channels and look at those and find one that you like and then just watch that for 2 or 3 days, right? Just find out which of these channels kind of speak to you, quote unquote. And from there, then I'm going to show you how to pull that channel out, use it for yourself, and then manipulate it based off what it is that you want to see. Because, for example, we saw in the pre-market channel, you saw that I said, okay, we had to move to something that really moved because it gave us this, right? Which is this stock that didn't do anything today, right? These little dashes means that there's 5 minutes that went by that nobody traded the stock. So you may want to say, okay, I really like this channel, but I want to get rid of those. And that's what we're going to cover next week, is how you're going to take these, modify them so that they can, increase and decrease certain things so that you filter out what you're interested in. That make sense? Any questions from anyone? How do you get started?